back to Tell the Truth channel. Please like, share my content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and what other content that y'all go on. I appreciate that very much. I am in Jesus and Jesus is in me. All right, I have a channel message from my Father. And there's two things he wants me to speak on. But I'm going to speak on this one first before I speak on the other one. All right. He want me to speak up. He want me to speak on some things that I went through back in my past when I was younger. He want me to speak on that. When I was like 9 years old. And before I made 9 years old, I was 5 years old when I fell out the window, which I brought this up to y'all on my other video. But it's a point to all of this, or him having me to speak on this again. So, when I was 5 years old and I fell out the window, and my parents and my grandparents, all of them sued public housing. They sued public housing when I fell out the window. So when they sued public housing, they had got this lawyer, and this lawyer supposed to have been fighting my case because they had sued public housing for a lot. I mean, I should have been like rich a long time ago. I should have been rich a long time ago, because when I fell out that window, I was 5 years old, and people thought I wasn't going to make it. My family thought I wasn't going to make it, but God made a way for me to make it. It was my purpose to be here. Now, the Father could have just called me home, but he said, no, my child, I want you to go back because you got work to do down here. So he had me to come back because I should have been gone a long time ago. But my Father brought me back. And they had my Father, my earthly father, now my heavenly Father made sure I came back because I had things to do. But my earthly father, when he heard that I fell out the window, and he came downstairs from the building because I fell out a 4-floor higher, tall building. I fell out of, And when I fell out the window, because I had a dress on that time before I fell, I remember all of that because I remember when I looked over the window, because I had a boy with me, and we were supposed to be going downstairs to play because my parents said I can go outside to play when I was 5 years old. So back then they didn't have no screens or nothing in the window, which they should have had screens and stuff in the windows in the projects back then, but they didn't have no screens in the window. So I decided to look out the window, and when I looked out the window, I asked the boy to boost me up, and when he boosted me up too far, and I went over. And as I went over, the Father in heaven opened my dress, and when he opened my dress, he flew me towards the grass because I was going towards the crate that they used to have in the middle of the grass. I was going towards that crate. And when he pushed me over away from the crate, he blew me towards the grass, and I fell in the grass. Thank you, Father. I fell in the grass. And when I fell in the grass, the boy family went and told my parents and all them that I fell out the window. And my father came downstairs. But before he came downstairs, I was literally trying to get up to walk. But when I tried to get up to walk, I fell down and I passed out. And when I passed out, I forgot about everything because I passed out. Only thing I remember is my father picking me up and running me to the nearest hospital. So when he ran me to the nearest hospital, he ran me to a hospital with full of nuns. It was nothing but nuns that worked in that hospital. So they try to survived me, and they gave up because they thought that they couldn't save me, so they gave up. And when they gave up, all of a sudden, my father, now this is a testimony. It's a testimony because he's telling me to talk about this. My father son a doctor. He son a surgeon to the hospital were full of nuns because they said they just couldn't save me. But my father son a surgeon, and this surgeon came from nowhere. Nobody never seen this surgeon. I don't even think the nuns or whoever even saw the surgeon themselves. Somebody must have talked to the surgeon. But when he came in and he told them, I can save her. So he did whatever he had to do, and he brought me back. And when he brought me back, the first thing I said when I woke up, I wanted some eggs and sausages, and I was hungry. And my parents told me everything about this because I was just 5 years old, and they told me all of this themselves. They told me exactly what happened. And when my parents came up there and they saved my life, because my parents, they was already there, and they saved my life, and the doctor saved my life. My parents asked to speak to the surgeon, and they couldn't find the surgeon. They told them they don't know who was the surgeon that saved my life because they couldn't find the surgeon. It's like the surgeon just came, saved my life, and poof, disappeared. They couldn't find him. So it was my father that summed the surgeon there. My earthly father, he summed that surgeon there because they couldn't even find the surgeon. And my parents told me all about this. So when they sued him, when the lawyer supposed to be running, trying to help me win my case, he took the money, most of the money, and gave me a little bit. And the little bit that he gave me was not enough for me to even survive on what I need. So I guess my parents and my grandparents were study trying to fight this man, and I don't know, was this man, was it elite or was he whatever the other people they call, I don't know, but he had to be working for somebody to beat my parents out of the money that I supposed to have received from housing, because it's supposed to have been a lot. I supposed to have been rich, like I said, a long time ago. So I guess my grandparents and my parents would study fighting them, because as I got older, I was like 9 years old, and I think they were still fighting the case. I don't know. But I know one day I had a vision. And when I had that vision, I saw my grandma. I saw my grandma in her bed, and I was laying next to my grandma, and I saw her pass away in her bed. Now, I don't know if somebody had something to do with my grandma being sacrificed. I don't know, because it could have been my grandma that was fighting harder than my parents for me to get my inheritance that I supposed to have got from when I fell out that window. And now this was my father's mother that was doing the fighting, and my grandparents, my mother's mother, all of them was fighting. All of them was doing it. And my mother, all of them was fighting. And my daddy, all of them was fighting. But anyway, I saw that vision. So one day, because I used to go over to my grandmama's house all the time and spend the night with her. And one day, I spent the night over my grandmother's house. And I went to bed. And my grandma, she came to bed. So when my grandma went to sleep, I thought my grandma was still, I thought my grandma was still here on the earth. I didn't know that she literally died in her sleep. But that's what, people say. People die in their sleep. I don't know. I don't think that goes on, I think somebody probably put something in a drink or, did something to remove her. So anyway, she was in the bed next to me sleep. And as she was in the bed next to me sleep, which I thought she was asleep. I just got up and figured that I'm just gonna go ahead and let my grandma get some sleep because I think she was still, tired, you know, from her working them days, working that day. So she probably was tired that other day. So I just said, I'm just gonna go ahead and let my grandma sleep. So I got up, went downstairs. So my father, my uncle, my daddy's brother came in the house and he asked me where was my grandma at. And I told him that she's upstairs asleep. And he went up there. And when he went up there, she was not asleep. She passed away in the bed. And I was literally right next to her when she passed away. And I didn't even know it. But I had the vision that she was going to pass away. You know. And he came downstairs and told me. And it kind of like put me in a state of shock because by me being young and experiencing that, it put me in a state of shock. So what I'm trying to say on this, y'all have children's. You get what I'm saying here? And y'all children's can experience things that I have experienced when I was young. Like, I have seen a lot of dead people pass on while I was 9 years old. I literally was in the house with them when they passed on. Like my grandma. I have seen people as I walk out there in the world and I see a dead body just laying there. And I'm 9 years old. I just used to see dead bodies every time you go around. I was seeing them. And I was surprised that I'm surprised that I didn't need, a psychiatrist. But you got to look at this. Psychiatrists can't help y'all when you're going through spiritual things because that's spiritual things. Psychiatrists can't help you. The only thing can help you is a preacher. Because the preacher know all about the spiritual things. So when y'all families and children's going through that and they having bad dreams and all of that stuff, you need to take them to a preacher because the psychiatrist cannot tell you about spiritual things. Only the preachers in them can tell you about spiritual things and why they going through what they going through and that they can help them through what they going through because a psychiatrist cannot help your child and tell them what they going through. They'll sit there and tell them, well, maybe it was just your mind and all that stuff. They don't know. Because, psychiatrists don't even believe in God. They don't even believe in God. They got their own belief of what they believe in. They got their own belief of what they believe in. They don't believe in God. So they say things like, it's just your imagination and it's your conscience and all kind of crazy stuff. That's why it's better just take them to the side. Just take them to see the preachers, because the preachers can help them with their spiritual things that they are going through. Because when they have nightmares and all that, y'all can't even help them for their nightmares and what they be going through, seeing dead people and all that. Seeing the people pass away in the family or whatever. They see all of this, and y'all don't understand why they so afraid to sleep at night or so afraid to go to funerals and all that. And then sometimes they have to go to the funerals. And then when they go to the funerals, then they coming back home and they having nightmares because they've been experiencing all of this stuff. And the only person can help them with that is, like I say, the preachers and all them can do that. They can talk to them, tell them about, what they got to do to help get them right, because they would tell them how to teach them how to pray, talk to God and all that, because God can only help you with the spiritual things. They can only help you with spiritual things. God can only help you with that. So when you go to the preachers help them, talk to them and teach them how to get to the Bibles and talk to the parents and tell the parents how to help them through what they go through. Because the psychiatrists, they can't do that. They're not spiritual. They don't know nothing about that. You got to go to people that's spiritual that can help you with all of that. So when y'all kids going through all of that, you go to the preachers and ask them to help your family through what they go through, especially the children's. Because kids go through a lot that y'all don't even see what they go through, but they go through a lot. A lot. And y'all just don't know what to do. Y'all just say, look, go to bed. We'll talk about it in the morning. Go to bed. I don't know why you always saying you having these dreams and all that, because people don't understand what people go through. It's just like when somebody done got beat on and you try to explain it to somebody, but people can't understand because they never been beated on, so they can't understand what you go through. So if people not in your shoes, then they can't understand what you go through. They can't. So ain't nothing they can say but just say whatever they feel they want to say, but they don't know what you go through. That's just like when somebody get raped, like I said. And then you try to talk to people about it that have not been through that. They can't help you because they never been through it. So the only people you could talk to that about is the people that you went through it with. You know, people that have been through that, you can't talk to because they've been through it. Because these people been in your shoes. And if other people have not been in your shoes, they cannot help you. Just like the children's. If you have not been in your children's shoes, then you cannot help your children's. The only thing you can do is take somebody to them that can help them with what they go through. And that's preachers. Because they can talk to them about it and, read it up in the Bible. And the Bible can tell them why they're going through it. And then therefore, they pulling themselves closer to God. And God protecting them through all of that they go through. Because a lot of times y'all parents just shut y'all children's out because they children's and y'all think they don't know what they feeling in their body and what they go through. They know, y'all just don't have the time to pay attention to them and understand what they go through. Because y'all figure y'all never was children's, which we all came from babies and growing up from children's to grown-ups as we are now. We are all once was kids. And some of y'all forget where y'all come from. You act like you never been children's in your life and you was once children's yourself and you've been through things, but then you act like you forget what you've been through, and then when your children's go through it, you act like you don't even remember when you've been through it yourself. So it's better to listen to your children's when they tell y'all the dreams they have and what they see out there in the world. Listen to them because y'all been through it too. Don't act like y'all ain't been through it. We all went through things. All of us. So, the next thing I want to talk about is the public schools. Now, like I say, my father sends me out there to the trenches. And when he sends me out there, he has me to look at what's going around. And I see what I see. Now, when I went out there to the trenches yesterday, I seen peace and quiet out there. It's always peace and quiet out there, and that's a good thing. Not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But now, since I go into the areas and the low-income areas, I go to the low-income areas too. It ain't just the suburbs I go through. I go through the low incomes. I go downtown. I go everywhere. I go to it. Okay? So by me going to the low-income areas, I roll around by the schools. And I see some of the low-income areas have crossing guards in some of their parks. And some of the low-income areas do not have crossing guards, which every public school, even if you living in the suburbs, they're supposed to have crossing guards. It don't even matter. Everybody should be treated equal. Nobody should not be treated no different than nobody else. Everybody should be treated equal. And these public schools, these kids, it don't matter. It don't matter if these kids live closer to their homes, they still need crossing guards out there. Because the point is that when these kids wake up in the morning and they walk out that door, they don't know who's waiting on them when they walk out that door. It should be a crossing guard on every corner and every school when them kids is going to school. Them kids should be safe in the low-income areas. They should be safe. Because you never know when somebody's going to walk up on these kids or drive up on these kids. And see, the public schools don't realize that if something happened to these kids on the time of they going to school, the public schools, the Board of Education will get sued. So if anybody child get snatched or whatever happened and it's on the public school's time, they are the one is going to get sued. Because they should have the crossing guards out there on every corner and every school. It don't matter if these kids is not, even if these kids are closer to their homes, they should feel safe of walking home and knowing that somebody is watching them and make sure they make it safe. Nobody should not be treated no different just because you live in a higher place. It shouldn't be no different from nobody. Everybody should be treated equal. And that's exactly what God is saying now. He's tired of how y'all is acting with the low income people. Treating them like they ain't nobody. They humans, just like y'all human. Don't forget you came from there. You all came from low income areas. You was not born with a silver spoon in y'all mouth, as I keep saying here. You was not born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You know the time of what we all went through. Because back in our days, they didn't have no crossing guards out there. And a lot of kids got raped. A lot of kids got snatched. All of that back in our days. And they talked about it all the time on the news. And the government had to do something about it because it was too much going down out there. Now it's time to shape up and get it right. And make sure these kids make it home safe. Because I'm going to put it like this, and I'm going to say it straight up. If y'all looking for y'all checks every 2 weeks, you will make sure them children will make it home safe and make it to school safe. You will make it. You will make sure. Because once them parents send them kids out there to the trenches, to y'all supposed to make sure they make it home safe and make it home and make sure they make safe going to school. Y'all, it's on y'all. Public schools, it's on y'all. Board of Education is on y'all. Because if anything happened to any one of these kids on y'all time, y'all is going to get sued. So think about that. Put crossing guards on every corner of these low incomes schools so these kids can feel safe walking out of that school and getting, when they walk out their house, going to school, and they know somebody that'll protect them if they see anything going on. Put it out there. Because like I say, the Father don't be sending me out there just to be sending me out there. He's sending me out there because sooner or later, you're all going to be up for judgment if you don't get it together. Because like I said, my Father is watching everybody. He's watching all of y'all. And y'all already know that y'all is on judgment. And if you don't get it together, you're going to find out what's going to happen sooner or later. So get it together and think about these children and stop thinking about y'allself. So this is what he wanted me to speak on. Thank y'all for listening to me on this. Jesus love you, Father love you, the Holy Ghost, the angels, the ancestors, and I love y'all. And I will be back to talk to y'all again soon. Y'all have a good day and a blessed day.